we're looking at the WordPress login screen for the machine playground. We're going to go ahead and log in. And once logged in, we're going to create a new page to look at some of the different structural layouts that we have in the default WordPress playground that we've created here. Every website will be quite different, will include very different functionality, but for this, for demonstration purposes, we're just going to show off what we already have built. So we're going to put in a sample page title. Just going to put in some Latin text here. And we're now going to create a new section. So this entire page, as you can see, doesn't have a WYSIWYG editor or a Microsoft Word style editor. It does, however, have this sections or structural flexible layout area. Now in here, we can add any of the sections that already exist in WordPress. And these have been created by machine as a base. A lot of websites use these structures, so we created them to speed up development on quite a few of those websites that we create. Now in this case, we're going to start out with a very simple layout. This is a text block layout, and a text block layout is exactly what it sounds like. So this gives us a heading, a subheading, and a content area. Now additional options up at the top here that you'll see on every flexible layout include the section title, which is an administration area only title. So it only shows up in the back end. This helps you identify this area on this page. Section ID, in case we needed to deep link to that area from somewhere on the front end, or potentially some more complex functionality using JavaScript perhaps. Also section classes, if ever we needed to do something that was very different, that was a one-off, we may actually put some section classes in here, which are CSS classes. So we're just going to put some sample content in here again. I'm going to paste some Latin text in there. For the subheading, we're going to do the same. Now again, these are both optional, and our descriptions in WordPress will try to identify that as much as possible. And for the content, we're going to paste in quite a bit. Now this content is the WYSIWYG editor, so we can put in use typical formatting, left align, right align. We can put links in, we can break links, quite a bit more. There's also a second toolbar that we can use if we need more advanced functionality. Some typical structures here that you might run into, things like these numbered items in a list. Now, if there's ever the need to go into the HTML, you can. It's not required, or usually not required. If ever you need to go in, you can go into that text editor and see a cleaned up version of the WordPress HTML. Advanced users may want to go in there. Now we're going to name this introduction area. And when we close this section, it will identify it as introduction area and the type of section beside it. So if ever you need to recreate this area or create a new page that's based on an existing page, you can do that by looking at how it's built here. Now adding a new section to this page, we're going to put something in that's a little bit more complex. We're going to use a slider in this case. And this is going to be impact slider. And in the impact slider, we have multiple slides. So this is an image, a rotating image banner on the home page, let's say. When we choose to add a slide, we have additional fields here like image, title, subtitle, and there's a link on this entire image in this case. If there was a button, we would have button text in here somewhere. So in this case, we're going to go and select an image that's already uploaded to WordPress. It's going to be this image here. And the title is going to be Summer Festival. Let's add a subtitle. Come visit us at Summerfest 2016. And the link type is going to be an external link in this case. And as you can see, there's none, internal, or external. So none wouldn't create a link. Internal links to any page that exists on the site currently. And external links to anything external, any other website. And we're going to link to summerfest.com, just for example. Now, if we want to add additional slides to the slider and have it rotate, we can choose Add Slide and do this again. I'm going to do that very quickly here. And in this case, we're going to link to an internal page, so something else on the site. Let's say this is a blog post. We can link to that post that exists in WordPress. Now, if I add summer beach sunsets after summer festival, but I actually want it to go first, I can grab this and drag it up above. So very straightforward, very drag and drop. If ever I wanted to edit the image, as you can see, I have a hover area here. If I wanted to remove this entire slide, I can remove it there, or I can add a new one above it by clicking the plus sign. Again, when I close it, it says impact slider, so whatever I've put in the back end shows up there. And I'm going to add callouts as well. And I'm going to call this one products callouts. This one has a title and content area, so I'm going to add a couple paragraphs of text. And this is the introduction area to the callouts. So we'd have a title, subtitle, and then multiple callouts down below. Or sorry, title, paragraph text, then multiple callouts down below. Now, the paragraph text is not required, so we don't need to put it in. But if I choose to add these callouts, I can then also drag and drop those callouts. I'm just going to put in title and a very brief bit of content. Now this button text, assuming it was a product, I could say something like buy now and then link to another page on the site. And if I had multiple callouts, I can then drag and drop those callouts to reorder them. We're not going to put a link in on this one. And we're going to call the last one product new, just as an example. I can then take product new and drag it up to give it higher priority. And if I want, I can even drag that all the way to the beginning. And again, I have my plus and minus. I have my image area. If I choose to upload an image, I can still use the WYSIWYG functionality, so I can make things bold and italic, add additional links in there if I like. And this one has a bit of a special functionality down at the bottom here. Well, in this case, there's an image style, so I can choose square, round, or rounded corners. So that would automatically change the output in the front end. And the items per grid, mobile, tablet, and desktop changes how many callouts are displayed per row when you start resizing this website down. So if I visit it on a mobile device, I'm going to have one item across the entire screen. On tablet, it'll be 2, and on desktop, it'll be 3. Now, sometimes we include this and sometimes we don't, depending on the structure of the website and the layout in the front end. Now we're going to go ahead and close this callout, and it's going to say product callouts. Now, looking at this structure, it's not quite the right layout for the home page, so I'm going to grab this, and I can grab the entire area, and I can drag and drop. So I can put that first, middle, or last, or anywhere in between if there's additional items. And when I let that go, it renumbers them as well. So 1, 2, 3. Expanding it, I can very clearly see with this blue line where that ends. So if I have them all open, I can still navigate through the entire website. And I can even drag and drop there. It's a little more difficult because they're quite large, but I can even drag and drop the entire section from within the editing view here. I'm going to go ahead and save a draft. And this website is now, or this page is now been updated.